In June of 2022, Capcom released the Capcom Fighting Collection, which included several classics like the Darkstalker series, Street Fighter II Hyper, and even rarer titles like Gem Fighter and Red Earth. Fast forward to 2025, Volume 2 is finally here, offering another collection of fighting game nostalgia for gamers of all levels to enjoy. Now, I originally got to try this out some months back at a preview event that Capcom privately held, where only 4 out of the 8 games were available to play. While I'm not particularly skilled at fighting games, or at least not anymore, I definitely recognized more than half the games that showed up in this collection, as a large part of my childhood was dominated by more than 50% of the roster, including countless hours into Alpha 3, Capcom vs SNK 2, and Power Stone. Now, if you played either the first Fighting Collection or the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, you basically already understand how Volume 2's features are set up. Each of the 8 titles features both Japanese and English versions of the respective games. You can easily navigate between arcade, versus, and training modes, and on a separate menu, are able to adjust certain things like speed and damage. Some games also feature remixed tracks such as CVS 2, and Power Stone 2. As is commonplace in other fighters, you have control over a plethora of training options, including input display, stuns, and if it's a 2D fighter, the visual display of hitboxes. There's also a nifty quick save option in case you ever need to stop playing or if you're trying to beat a stage but are afraid of using a continue. Within the game menus themselves, you can also freely adjust things such as wallpapers found on the sides of the screen, in addition to the display filter and size. Each game is typically set up on some type of grainy filter, which can be lessened, amplified, or completely removed. Display sizes can also be changed between original, 4x3, or wide. These options put together allow you to customize your gaming experience to be as crispy or as nostalgic as you want, complete with all the scan lines. While not shown in the footage, within the button configuration, you're actually able to bind various special moves, including special moves and supers. Fighting game enthusiasts and veterans may not particularly find a use for this, but for people that just want some good old casual fun, or make difficult move execution much easier, it exists to help. Now, if memory serves me right, a majority if not all fighting games back in the day didn't come with actual tutorials. On that note, there are no extra modes like you would find in the home console versions of each game, so things like custom color edit from CVS 2, adventure mode in Power Stone 2, or even World Tour from Alpha 3. While those may be omitted, you are able to freely unlock and utilize secret characters that you would have potentially pulled from those modes, and what you're left with is essentially a to-the-point fighting game collection that you can pick up and get into right away. Online matchmaking, complete with leaderboards, ranked, and casual matches, are also included within this collection. But even though we had access to online matchmaking for the purposes of our review, I could not for the life of me match up with someone else who also had a review copy of the game. As a result, I am unable to comment on the functionality of it, but based on some light research of the other collections and my personal experiences with Street Fighter 6, I'd like to say you should have nothing to worry about barring your own console, PC, and or internet connection. One last thing I'd like to touch up on is Museum Mode, which features music and artwork for each title. Things ranging from promotional artwork, marquee cards, which you can also find within in-game menus, and also concept art, all of which are at crystal clear resolutions. While a lot of the concept art has Japanese text, the inclusion further raises the value of this already value-packed collection and is a nice walk through fighting game history. Now let's quickly touch base on each of the games found in this collection. Starting off with the 2D fighters, let's get into Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, which features the Isms system, which is basically your fighting style. As you pick your character, you're able to select between A-ism, being your standard 3-gauge bar, V-ism, which allows custom combos, and X-ism, which prevents you from air blocking and alpha countering, but in exchange has the highest damage output of the 3 styles. Honestly, Alpha 3 was a super solid game back then and still damn solid today, and the ability to customize your playstyle with the grooves made this a blast for me to play. From there, we have Capcom vs SNK, where you'll find a good chunk of characters from both companies' repertoire of fighting games. You get to choose between Capcom or SNK fight styles or grooves, which dictate how you build and execute meter. I think the thing that stands out the most in this game is the ratio system, which essentially is your team building resource. Each character is assigned a strength rating, which you then use to build your team, with up to 4 points. From there, you duke it out in team battles until one team is left standing. Capcom vs SNK 2, a game which I hold near and dear to my childhood, builds on top of this further by introducing even more grooves like the P groove, which is reminiscent of Street Fighter 3 and allows for parrying. Characters no longer have strength ratings, and teams can have their ratios freely assigned up to 4 points. I think out of all the fighters in this collection, I feel this is one game that I have been particularly looking forward to the most in the 2D selection, considering the absolute beast of a roster found in this crossover. Finally, we have Capcom Fighting Evolution, which features 4 characters from 5 of Capcom's fighting games. Each character utilizes their respective systems, meaning Street Fighter 2 characters have the 1 super meter, Alpha characters have 3 bars and can air block, Third Strike characters have their meter plus parrying, and so on and so forth. While I find the concept of literally pitting fighting games against each other using their own tools, having been spoiled by the freely selectable and expansive groove system from CVS2, I didn't find myself particularly enjoying this one as much as I would have hoped. Getting into the 3D side of things, we have Plasma Sword, which is a game I never knew existed. It's a 4-button fighter which allows for sidestepping. It's an interesting 3D combo fighter that utilizes the plasma power meter to execute specials and other mechanics. Now, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about this game, so I can't really comment much about the mechanics, but I did notice Hayato, who I only recognize because of Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. Next up, we have Project Justice, which is the sequel to Rival Schools. Project Justice is also another 4-button fighter that allows for sidestepping and insanely high jumping. What's cool about this game is that you can create teams of 3, which enables team specials depending on the partner character. From team combos to even meter recovery, the results will vary based on the character. You can also switch between each of the 3 after each round. While I didn't sink as much time into this game like I did with Alpha 3 and CVS2 back in the day, I definitely remember how easy it was to get into and pull off combos and supers. The last 2 games are ones that I definitely hold super near and dear to my childhood. Power Stone 1 is a one-on-one brawler where you run in 3D space, utilizing punches, kicks, throws, and items to beat your opponent into submission. Each player starts off with a Power Stone, which can be knocked out with a strong attack. When you collect 3, you transform into a powered up state, which grants hyper armor and super strong attacks. It also allows you to do supers for devastating damage. I remember playing the crap out of this game in the arcades and at home on the Dreamcast for countless of hours. On the other hand, Power Stone 2 takes a slightly more simplified control scheme, but adds 2 more players and more Power Stones into the mix. You'll fight and beat each other in a 4-player free-for-all until 2 players are left standing. Now, this game was basically the Super Smash Bros. For Capcom fighting games in the sense that it had 4 players duking it out, fighting over items, traversing obstacles in the environment, and racing to nab Power Stones to tip the scales in their favor. I really hope that Capcom revitalizes this series and gives a sequel in the future because it has so much potential and so much stuff to build off of. Now, I don't think I need to explain the value in having a collection of old fighting games bundled together, but being able to play and quite frankly, reliving some amazing gameplay experiences is absolutely priceless. A lot of these games you just can't play anymore in arcades nor for home use unless you own original copies with their respective systems or if you resort to emulation. The ability to take the fight online in all of these games evolves and propels them into modern day gaming. On a personal note, I can't stress enough just how excited I am to play Power Stone 2 in this day and age, especially because of online multiplayer. I loved the sweatiness of Power Stone 1, but the chaos and mayhem you get out of Power Stone 2 in multiplayer just makes it so damn fun for countless hours in the company of friends. I'm also excited to play some good old Alpha 3 and CVS2 with friends, but man, After playing these games for the first time in a long time, I'm reminded of how some of these older fighters had tighter execution windows in addition to how spoiled I am by some of the leniency of newer fighters. Nonetheless, gamers who play these games in the past can relive the good old days while creating new memories, especially with those that have never had the chance to play them before. People that are playing these games for the first time are potentially experiencing these classic titles in its best form. From artwork to a plethora of options to customize your immersion and experience, the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2 is something I believe that all gamers with an interest in retro fighters should definitely pick up. I know I'll be playing a lot of Power Stone 2 and CVS 2 with my own community and other online friends for countless of hours. Thank you to Capcom for providing me a key so I could create this video, and also thank you to all of my supporters on Twitch and YouTube, in addition to my coffee. That's it for this review, friends. As always, stay safe, get mad, get sad, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!
Listen closely, approach me. Suckers mostly try to treat me like better than